Bad Blood, Chapter 1, Divide, 1861. Did I do the right thing? River pulled her horse to a stop and turned her head to face her father. I wanted nothing more than to stay out of this, but now... Her words caught in her throat. I think you did what was best given the situation, America stated plainly. River was sure that she could see the sadness flash in his eyes. Those seemed to be the only emotions he could express since he got the first succession notice. However, just as quickly it appeared, it was gone, and his horse started moving again. So we're just going to ignore everything then, River thought, and started to follow America home. River expected it to all end when she made her choice. It didn't. She still felt the pain that felt like she was being split in half as her people picked sides and her government split. Pain as her siblings used her land as a battlefield. She was sitting at the desk in her room. She and America had went separate ways almost as soon as they'd gotten home. She was not accustomed to her father being so cold toward her. She turned her attention back to the letter she was attempting to write. She had been writing to Luke ever since she had left. Luke was one of her siblings who stood up for her, and in a way, she had lost the most important person to her. She didn't often get letters back, most likely due to the fact that Luke did not have the time. When she did, however, she didn't like what Luke had to tell her. When the war had started, another personification appeared. This one was the Confederate States. Luke had told her that Allen was the opposite of America in every way. Not to mention he wasn't too kind to the states under his control. A knock on the door snapped her out of her thoughts. She realized how close she was to crying. Come in. She tried to keep her voice even and was failing miserably. She was expecting America to walk in and was surprised to see instead a different yet still familiar blonde walk into her room. River, what did you do? New York's voice held a hint of panic, and for a second River had no idea what she meant. Then it hit her. Her decision to support both sides. You can't change my mind, New York. River stood straighter in an attempt to look stronger than she was. Be glad I chose to be in this horrid war. She moved forward in an attempt to shut the door on her older sister. You don't get it, New York stated, pushing back against the door to keep it from closing. Please, I'm just trying to war. She did not get a chance to finish her sentence as River won their little game of push the door and immediately locked it once her sister was on the other side. River! New York yelled, banging on the door, and for a moment River was worried that she would break the door down. After a few minutes of River ignoring her, the banging stopped, and River assumed the older state had left. She didn't need a state who barely ever spoke to her, telling her what to do with her own state. At least she didn't feel the need to insult me, River muttered, turning back to her letter writing.